In this video, I wanted to jump in today to talk about something that people ask me all the time. Should I be taking magnesium? Do I have magnesium deficiency? What are the signs of magnesium deficiency, the main causes? And what is the best type of magnesium to take? Because there are many different forms of magnesium out there, and the one that you want to take depends on the symptoms and what you want to accomplish. So welcome. I want to answer also all your questions in there. Put them in the comments. I will be thrilled to help you in your health journey. So let's dive in and let's start talking about magnesium. So what is magnesium? Magnesium is an essential mineral for our body and for overall health, and also an electrolyte. And magnesium, the levels of magnesium are controlled by kidney function and is excreted through the urine. Magnesium is not one of the more abundant minerals in our body, but is one of the most important for overall health, because there are more than 300 different biochemical reactions in our body that depends on magnesium. And we use that magnesium, and as I said, it's not very abundant. We use it every day for those functionalities that are happening in our body. So we have to be able to replenish every day also the amount of magnesium that we put. So what functionalities, what are some of the important things that magnesium is doing in your body? It's important for regulating blood pressure, your heartbeat, also for good motility. I'm talking about magnesium as an IBS expert because it's also very important for pulling water into the intestines and softening the stools and help you with motility. Also, if you suffer from heartburn and reflux, it's really good for neutralizing the acids in your stomach as well. Also very important for supporting neurotransmitters functionality, nerve, muscle and tissue function. Magnesium is essential and very important to put it back every single day. So a multivitamin, if you are taking a daily multivitamin, is okay because you have a little bit of magnesium, but if you have magnesium deficiency, you really need to support with more magnesium in there. So how do we know if we have a magnesium deficiency? So some of the most common symptoms for magnesium deficiency is if you get some leg cramping. You wake up in the middle of the night with a big cramp in your legs, or it happens often when you work out or through the day. So that could be a sign. Insomnia. Magnesium is essential also for helping you calming down, relaxing and sleeping, for controlling, for muscle pain, for fibromyalgia. Anxiety can be related also to magnesium deficiency, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, fatigue, feeling tired all the time is also a big cause, osteoporosis. So as you can see, headaches, migraines. My mother had migraines every single day, and it was as simple as magnesium deficiency that she had. So very important to identify if you have any of those symptoms, and also what possible causes could be causing magnesium deficiency. And also in general, I suggest always taking a magnesium supplement, because it has been estimated that more than 80% of the population suffers from magnesium deficiency, and I see it in my office all the time. I test people for magnesium, and they are always lower than the numbers. Even if you are within the range, the functional medicine range, you can be low in there. So taking magnesium is essential. So what could be some possible causes for magnesium deficiency? There are different type of causes, but there are three main ones. One of them is the soil. The soil. A big source of magnesium is vegetables. Some foods that are grown in rich soil that is supposed to have a lot of minerals, but the problem is that now the way they grow they don't leave enough crops, they don't leave enough time in between crops to regenerate the minerals, fulvic acid and other minerals, not just magnesium in the soil. So a lot of the vegetables that we eat are depleted from a lot of minerals. So we are not taking enough minerals from our diet because those vegetables are grown in depleted soil. So that's why it's important to supplement also with some multivitamin, mineral, and some magnesium in particular that we are talking about. Also, other causes is malabsorption. If you suffer from gastrointestinal disorders, inflammation, leaky gut, if you are not breaking down the food well, that is causing malabsorption of a lot of vitamins and minerals, so you can end up with deficiencies. So magnesium deficiency is a big one when you are not able to break down the food well, because the food is a big source for that. And also you are making any certain dietary changes. There's people, mostly some people that are transitioning into ketogenic diets and start cutting certain sources of minerals. So they start getting like leg cramping, constipation, and that can be because of a lack of magnesium, potassium, other minerals, electrolytes that could cause also those effects. So some dietary changes by cutting certain foods may also cause magnesium deficiency. So as you could see, it's very common to have it. I have that. So here we have a comment. I have that. I cannot take nothing because of my gastritis and IBS. Yes, if you have IBS, you definitely will have more deficiencies than magnesium. I'm going to mention in here some forms of magnesium that also for people with gastritis, if you cannot take supplements, you could also use and then absorb better. So that was a very good comment. Thank you for sharing. So what are the different forms that we can put magnesium? So definitely magnesium could come from the food and could come from supplements. The difference between just relying on food for magnesium, to take magnesium of supplements, is if you have a deficiency, just food is not going to be able to replenish your numbers of magnesium. It's as simple as, for example, vitamin C. So for vitamin C, if you would take a supplement of 500 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams, that is not enough just with the juice of one lemon. You will need a lot of bags of lemon to be able to bring 500 milligrams. So the difference with the supplements is that they are much more concentrated, therapeutic grade, so they are gonna be able to help you with the deficiency. So definitely putting foods that are high in magnesium is important, but also if you have already the deficiency or you have signs for that, I will recommend you to take the supplement. So some foods that are high in magnesium are avocados, for example. Green leafy vegetables are very high in magnesium. Is also spinach in particular. Talking about green leafy, spinach are very high. Also sunflower seeds, almonds and almond butter. When we talk about fish, mackerel is also a really good source of magnesium. Sardines, flax seeds, and also one of my favorite, dark chocolate. Chocolate is good if we don't eat the sugary chocolate. Ideally we want to get 80-85% or higher in cacao or pure cacao powder, but dark chocolate is really rich in magnesium, iron as well if you have iron deficiency, and anandamide. That's why we feel good when we eat chocolate. It's a natural cannabinoid as well. So those are sources of magnesium from food. But then if you decide to take magnesium from a supplement, there are tons of forms of magnesium out there, and I know that can be a little bit confusing when you go over there. So usually beside the type of magnesium and the form of magnesium, you want to be sure that you buy a clean source of magnesium. as well. And actually, before I jump into the supplements, there is another source of food that I love that is very high in magnesium, that is bone broth. Bone broth is very rich in electrolytes, not just magnesium. So drinking bone broth, chicken broth every day, that helps you with replenishing also electrolytes. Is better than the Gatorade or the electrolyte drinks after a workout. Bone broth is really good for that. Angela, hello, thank you for joining us in here. So jumping into the supplements again, besides talking about the form of magnesium that you want to take, that depends on what you want to address, also what is important is to read the labels. And I'm always really picky with the labels for food and supplements. I do a lot of research for no heavy metals contamination, mold, sugar, carcinogenic colorings, or other ingredients that you don't want to have in there, because that is what is causing the damage. Even a very expensive supplement could be hiding some bad ingredients out there. So it's why it's very important always to be able to control to read the labels, to learn how to read the labels. So I have an online store. You can go to my bio, click the bio and check the online store, because I have done also already the research for you, and I have compiled in there a lot of supplements from the market, the cleanest, the most effective as well, the most concentrated and clean. So you can find also, talking about magnesium, different forms of magnesium in there. So talking about different forms of magnesium, there are magnesium supplements that have higher absorption, and there are magnesium supplements that they have a low absorption, so you may need to take a higher concentration. So when we talk about what are the concentrations that a person needs to take every day, so I have a listing here. Infants to 6 months, 30 milligrams a day. 7 to 12 months old, 75 milligrams of magnesium a day. 1 to 3 years old, 80 milligrams. 4 to 8 years, 130 milligrams. 9 to 13, 240 milligrams a day. 14 to 18, 410 milligrams for men and 360 for women. Adults that are 31 years old or older, so elder than 31, 420 milligrams a day for men and 320 for women. Pregnant women, 350 to 360 milligrams is safe, and women who are breastfeeding, 310 to 320. But of course, if there is any other underlying condition, it's important to work with a healthcare practitioner. When I work with people or there is a deficiency, we have to see what other type of concentration you may want to take. In some cases can be even 600 milligrams, but again, that has to be more specific. So going back to the type of magnesiums that we want to take. So there is the magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate and magnesium chelate are two of the magnesium supplements that have the highest absorption in our body, so you don't need to take that much. So magnesium chelate is usually the one that we find in sources of food and binds peptides, binds amino acids that are going to be able to build protein in the body. So they are really good when someone has magnesium deficiency. Magnesium chelate or magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate are two of the forms that are the most recommended to bring back your numbers. Also, those type of magnesium are not having a laxative effect. There are some magnesiums that have laxative effect, but the glycinate and the chelate, they don't have laxative effect. Also, magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide are the ones that are used if you suffer from constipation and you want to use magnesium as a laxative. Magnesium citrate, which is a combination of magnesium and citric acid, have a laxative effect. It's bringing water into the intestines, smoothing the stools and stimulating the peristaltic movement, so magnesium citrate or oxide. Also, we have magnesium chloride, and someone put it in there that cannot take any supplement because of gastritis and problems. So magnesium chloride is usually a form of magnesium that is coming in oil form. So you are going to put it on your skin topically, so you are going to be able to absorb the magnesium through the skin. That is also something that athletes or people that has malabsorption and gastrointestinal problems tend to use when you have magnesium deficiency. So that's magnesium chloride. There is magnesium sulfate. Magnesium sulfate is a combination of magnesium, sulfur, and oxygen, and that usually comes in the Epsom salt form. So taking a bath with Epsom salt is a really good way to uptake magnesium through your skin, and what it's doing is relaxing the smooth muscle cells of the vessels, so helps with high blood pressure and also help you calming down, relaxing, so you are ready to also have a good sleep and go into bed. And talking about sleep, also a very good form of magnesium is magnesium threonate. Magnesium threonate has also a very high absorption and has been shown to be very good for people that suffers from insomnia. It's able to pass the brain barrier, helps with neurotransmitters function, nerve function. So magnesium threonate has been a really good form of magnesium that helps you also with insomnia if it's related to magnesium deficiency. But also magnesium glycinate can help you with that. If your insomnia related to deficiency, glycinate, which is a very high concentration, anything related to magnesium deficiency, glycinate or chelate are some that is easy to find at the market, and citrate or oxide if your constipation is also related to magnesium deficiency. So, well, I think I covered a lot of it. So we were talking about what is magnesium, why it's so important to take it. Remember, our soils are depleted. We are not breaking the food well most of the time. That's causing a lot of magnesium deficiencies. And also some of the symptoms that you may have magnesium deficiency. And what is the best type of magnesium to take? And as I said, I have already done the research for you. You can check my favorite forms of magnesium by going to my bio, click the bio, and then click the link in there, and you can check in the store some of the best sources, supplements for magnesium out there. And I also mentioned before that a big source for magnesium in food is bone broth, chicken broth or beef. Bone broth is a really good source of electrolytes. So if you are not able to have broth, cook broth, to drink a cup of broth every single day, a really good way to incorporate bone broth is with bone broth powder. So bone broth powder, hydrolyzed bone broth powder, has a higher also absorption. So if you, I know that we had the comment for somebody that cannot take the magnesium supplements, so drinking bone broth or taking bone broth powder is a really good way to incorporate also magnesium into your diet and higher concentrations. And actually bone broth powder is also one of my favorite ways to incorporate protein. It's a really good protein powder. It's really good for healing your gut, for bringing electrolytes to your body, minerals, but also a really good source of protein. 1 scoop of bone broth powder is 20 grams of protein. So for magnesium deficiency, other deficiencies, that is a really good addition. So you can also see in my store a really good source of bone broth. When we talk about source of bone broth, what you want to look for, it has to be grass-fed, pasture-raised, free range if it's from chicken, because no matter what we decide to take, what is causing the damage is the source and the additives and the preservatives in that food and those supplements. So be sure when you buy a good bone broth powder that is coming from a grass-fed animal or pasture-raised or free range. So in my store I have already compiled a couple of bone broths that have a very clean source, very effective, hydrolyzed, so you are going to absorb it much better through your gut. So, well, thank you for much for joining. I hope this helps. Remember that I am jumping here every Wednesday live to answer any of your questions. Magnesium deficiency has been one of the main ones. One of the main questions that I got. I'm checking in here in the comments if we have any other questions or comments. I don't see any other. But keep an eye for the next Q&A. Send me your questions through direct message as well, so I can answer them live. I'm here to help you in your health journey. So thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you live, and I hope to see you next week.